Hello, and welcome to Breaking Barriers, the podcast where we explore the challenges and opportunities of living in a digital world. I'm your host, and today we're going to talk about social media and mental health. How does social media affect our well being, mood, and self esteem? What are the benefits and risks of using social media? And how can we use it in a healthy and positive way? To answer these questions, I have two special guests with me. Lisa is a psychologist and author of the book The Science of Stuck: How to Break Free from Negative Emotions and Thrive. And Ethan is a social media strategist and founder of the online platform Connect, a community for digital wellness. Welcome to the show, Lisa and Ethan.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for inviting me.
So, let's start with the basics. What is social media and how does it work?
Social media is a term that refers to various online platforms and applications that allow people to create and share content, communicate, and interact with others. Some of the most popular social media platforms are Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, and TikTok. Social media works by using algorithms that determine what content you see based on your preferences and behavior and network. The more you use social media, the more data the algorithms collect, and the more personalized your experience becomes.
And what are some of the reasons why people use social media?
Well, people use social media for different purposes, but some of the common ones are to stay in touch with family and friends, to find information and entertainment, to express themselves and their opinions, to join communities and causes, and to seek support and validation.
I see. And how does social media affect our mental health? What are some of the positive and negative impacts?
Social media can have both positive and negative impacts on our mental health, depending on how we use it and what we use it for. Some of the positive impacts are that social media can help us feel connected, informed, inspired, and empowered. It can also provide us with resources, opportunities, and feedback that can enhance our personal and professional growth. Some of the negative impacts are that social media can make us feel isolated, anxious, depressed, insecure, and overwhelmed. It can also expose us to misinformation, negativity, cyberbullying, and addiction that can harm our self-esteem, relationships, and productivity.
That's very interesting. Can you give us some examples of how social media can cause these effects?
Sure, for example, social media can make us feel connected by allowing us to keep in touch with our loved ones, especially during times of physical distancing or geographical separation. It can also help us find groups of people who share interests, hobbies, or goals. However, social media can also make us feel isolated by creating a false sense of intimacy and belonging. It can also make us feel lonely by making us compare ourselves to others who seem to have happier, more successful, or more exciting lives than us.
I can relate to that. What about anxiety and depression?
Well, social media can cause anxiety and depression by triggering or worsening our negative emotions, such as fear, anger, sadness, or guilt. For example, social media can make us feel anxious by exposing us to stressful or alarming news, events, or opinions. It can also make us feel depressed by making us feel inadequate, hopeless, or worthless. Additionally, social media can interfere with our sleep, which is essential for our mental health. Research has shown that using social media before bed can disrupt our circadian rhythm, reduce our sleep quality, and increase our risk of insomnia and mood disorders.
That's very concerning. What about insecurity and overwhelm?
Well, social media can make us feel insecure and overwhelmed by affecting our self image and self worth. For example, social media can make us feel insecure by making us compare our appearance, abilities, or achievements to those of others who use filters, editing, or enhancement tools to present themselves in unrealistic or idealized ways. It can also make us feel overwhelmed by exposing us to much information, stimulation, or pressure that can overload our cognitive and emotional capacities.
Wow, that's a lot to take in. So, how can we use social media in a healthy and positive way? What are some tips or strategies that you can share with us?
Well, the first step is to be aware of how social media affects you and your mental health. You can do this by monitoring your mood, thoughts, and behaviors before, during, and after using social media. You can also use apps or tools that track your screen time, usage patterns, and notifications. The second step is to set boundaries and limits for your social media use. You can do this by deciding when, where, how, and why you use social media. You can also use features or settings that reduce distractions, interruptions, or temptations. The third step is to balance your online and offline activities. You can do this by making sure that you have enough time and energy for your offline priorities, such as work, school, family, friends, hobbies, or self-care. You can also use social media to enhance your offline experiences, such as learning, creating, or connecting, rather than replacing them.
I agree with Lisa, and I would add that the fourth step is to be intentional and mindful about your social media use. You can do this by choosing the platforms, content, and people that align with your values, goals, and interests. You can also use social media to support causes, movements, or organizations that you care about and to spread positivity, kindness, and gratitude. The fifth step is to seek help and support if you feel that social media is affecting your mental health negatively. You can do this by talking to someone you trust, such as a friend, family member, or teacher or counselor. You can also use online resources such as websites, apps, or podcasts that offer information, advice, or guidance on how to cope with stress, anxiety, depression, or other mental health issues.
Those are some great tips. Thank you, Lisa and Ethan, for sharing your insights and expertise with us. I hope our listeners found this episode helpful and informative. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, please feel free to contact us through our social media channels or email. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast. Until next time, this is Breaking Barriers, signing off.